that. I think that'd be great for the I think for you, that's what the portion of your life and stuff. You got a new phone. Hey, congratulations. A lot of it. So come back from that to like 5 or 6 of them. Your stuff is pretty. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's dying. Yeah, so I got a new one. It's
The whole
probably
thing.
cheap, but it's only $78 down and $30 a month.
Morning.
It's so much easier. Transfer everything over before you phone. Is this starting already?
Yes, it should start.
Okay, cool. I'll go, Hey. What are you doing? I don't know how you do it.
Oh.
I need to. On the link. Yeah. So from the website you went. That's not the service website. No, from the email. Not, or maybe. Oh, you can straight to Zoom? No, I'm trying to do the YouTube, but I think it's supposed to have the. Alright. What's up?
Okay.
Oh, gotcha. You got them. So the YouTube says, the link goes to the email. So the link is supposed to request them.
Oh.
But he gives a link open to everybody. Maybe
No,
not.
it's right. No.
Okay, so maybe I'll try.
So if someone requests it,
Then
you don't have to remember this thing.
this thing goes. Okay. I want to make
Not
sure.
everybody will watch. Yeah.
Is that the way he set it up on his site? Yeah. Yeah. I want to make sure that I can see your Zoom. How do I get the Zoom link?
Yo, thanks, Uncle.
Hey, good morning. Dude.
You were sitting here?
Oh, no, actually. Yeah, go ahead.
Just checking, just checking.
Well, that's okay. You can sit down. I'll sit up. I'll sit
No,
up.
I'll sit up, right? I'll sit up front.
This one?
I'm in front.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay.
I hope it's okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I got the link. Okay.
So you gotta get that link.
What is it?
Right. This Zoom link, but it's okay. I'm trying to check the Zoom, but you says you have another meeting. But is it started already?
Yes, I think it's from the older Zoom link
Oh,
because the schedule changed.
oh, I see. Okay, okay. Sorry. Did I?
So it's from the email.
Right.
That's Peter's
But
side.
that's what, if you wanted to do, yeah, request. He has a new thing. that he have, or you have,
He said he's going to be using the older link from
but it's
September
not connecting,
10th.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah. Or our side.
Hope so.
Granted, then you can share that.
I think for you, that's.
One, two.
I know.
So funny. I'm nervous.
Transfer everything over before you.
I forget one of all of us.
Is this starting already?
It should start.
Okay, cool.
You're there.
There you go.
Later.
Later.
Okay, I would like to start. First of all, thank you all for coming today. I'm very happy to see all of your faces today. Thank you very much. Okay. So before we start, I would like to start by reciting the true words spoken by Buddha together.
I need to. On the link.
Yeah.
So from the website you went, not the service website.
No, from the email.
The true words spoken by Buddha,
Or maybe.
Yuho Okawa. There used to be the light in the great universe.
No, I'm trying to.
The light is the energy of Buddha.
Have the,
People can live by this energy, and Buddha's energy has made human history. It will be supplied eternally. This eternal light comes from heaven and prevails on earth. This is the light of heaven through the prism of Buddha. There appears the 7 colors of rainbow, marching over in the sky. Here you can see Buddha's mercy. Yellow is the color of teaching. White is the color of Satan. Red is the color of justice. Purple is the color of obedience. Blue is the color of 15. Green is the color of
Is that the way you set it up?
Or the seven verses.
I want to make sure that I can see your Zoom.
Especially
How do I get the Zoom link?
Dude.
You were sitting here? Just checking.
Well, that's okay. You can sit down.
Bodies are the shadows of the spirits. It means there are the boats sailing down the great river. The great river is a symbol of the course of lives. Each of you sails down as a small boat. So you leave a boat. If not fearful, boat then should be.
Okay.
This boat really needs your life.
Makes no mistake.
Right.
Boat breaks into pieces
Zoom
by a large.
link, but it's okay.
And you
I'm
also
trying to check this.
This
Zoom,
boat is the medium.
but it says you have another meeting, but did you, is it started already?
Yes, I think it's from the older Zoom link
Oh,
because
The
schedule.
oh, I see.
And the speech became a gold mine. This gold mine suggests various these are another Christian literature and computer days,
Right.
or the video of another that brings us the
He wanted to do.
all of you now here listen to me.
He has a.
Lose your way now and forever.
Um, he said he's gonna be using the older link from September.
Greatly honored.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your lives are not limited to this world only. They have three aspects: the past, the present, the future. Your past has already gone by. Yet still, your mistake will be kept in your mind. That is the reason why you should understand the people. And you yourself should reflect on what you have done. You and others are not different. On the contrary, both are children of living and brothers and sisters. Now then, love each other. Let us bring up each other. And it's time to forgive each other. This is the eternal law, which penetrates the present and the future. Yes, indeed, the light of the dark night, the dark night of this world is done. It is also the same in another world. Since you came down to this world, the Son of the truth is ready to rise. Now we are like the rising sun. It will spread out to the future. We invite our people to Buddha. You invite them. There shall not be conflict in this world. There shall not be distress in this world. There shall not be crime in this world. There shall not be evil spirits in this world. There shall not be the devil in the next world. Only the ideal world. Utopia shall be realized. All of the people love each other, live harmoniously, believe in one another. That world is utopia. All of us to be the light of the lives. Believing that the life of reality, believing that love is reality, believing that the truth is reality. These are the facts that should be conveyed. We, the light of police officers, together to keep right mind and live in community with His words, here without to disturb.
Lord Elkantar, Master Riho Okawa, the primordial Buddha of the great universe, and the Creator, who is the origin of all life. Thank you for giving us the Art of Influence Koan Seminar Part 1. We will love the Lord God, deepen our study on your will through the seminar, increase our art of influence, and spread this truth to the end of the world. Now, let us take a moment.
One, two.
So funny. I'm nervous. voice. Mm. Okay. Sorry, there was this technical problem. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Sorry, there was this technical problem. Sorry. I'm sorry again. Um, Again, thank you all for coming today. And we will be contemplating on the Art of Influence Koan seminar, Koan number 2. And we will first start by watching the opening video. And the opening video is the same as the last time, but depending on your state of mind and your enlightenment, you can discover something new, something different. So please try to grasp something new today. Okay, let's watch.
塩総裁補佐からもまあ聞いたんで、まあ銀行に勤めた頃、1年だけ銀行に勤めてたんですけども、会社の人間関係ちょっとうまくいかなくなったりしたことになって、こう年上のまあ中退がついてね、結構年上の人とかついたりするんだけど、まあ採用の区分が違うので、まあ40ぐらいの人とかでも、自分と資格が一緒だったりする人が教えてくれたりするけど、感覚的にちょっとうまくいかなくなったりすることがあったら、これやっぱり教学たちに戻らなきゃいけないと言って、当時が流行ったんだと思いますけど、感化力とかいう本をこう家で読んで、こういうふうにして人に接して、感化力を与えなきゃいけないんだなと思って、本に書いてあるようにやろうと思って勉強して教育したことを会社で実践にしたら人間関係が良くなった。本当だ、先生の教えは効果があるんだみたいなことを実際にこう実体験してやったっていうようなことを言って。だから多分今もうちょっと経験を積んでいる方々はこの教えを実際に使ってみたらどういうふうに効果があるかないかみたいな知ってるんだと思うんですよ。その信仰を持たれる世界を作ろうとしているなら、これに対する反作用が始まりますので、どうかその前に、人類の考え方を変えていきたいと思っています。まあ、それが私は救世主の仕事だと考えています。今回は仕事が重い。世界の国の数がかなりひどいです。また、こんなウイルスがいっぱい流行っている時代では自由に動けない、時代です。しかし、どんなことがあっても思想やその中を貫いて人がやっていくべきだと思っています。どうか信仰心を中心に人生と、それから自分たちの仕事を組み立てていってください。そして人間としての正しい生き方を一人でも多くの人に伝えてください。
Thank you, Lord. So first of all, I want to be clear that the art of influence that Master Riho Okawa is teaching us from this book is not just the practical tips to advance this world, but also to advance and succeed in the other world as well. Because all of his experience, thoughts, actions, perspective are from the source, which comes from Alcantara himself. So this is indeed a miracle that we are very, very fortunate to learn and practice the teachings. Okay, and we are elevating our enlightenment that transcends this world and the other world. For example, Shio's experience that Master mentioned in the lecture, when she started to change her mindset towards her instructor, she was able to not just succeed, but she was able to elevate and attune to the perspective of God, and she was able to have a good relationship with the instructor. So what I want to say is that this book is filled with hints of what Alcantara would do to solve daily problems in life. So this is very profound and profound book of God. And changing yourself is what says change to change your life. So, but changing your life is not something that can be done easily. It takes time and perseverance. But once you make it a habit to every day challenge yourself to become a better versions of yourself, you are hitting the right path. And I really think that Alcantara really loves people who strives to move forward and who is trying to help themselves. He really loves those kinds of people. And I hope you will recharge the light and solve relationship problems at home, at work, in life, and develop your leadership skills through attending this seminar. And today too, I'm sure that all of your guardian and guiding spirits are watching over your mind. They are wanting to help you. They want to give you inspirations. So please be open-minded. Please relax. And please also make effort to look deeply into the koan and deeply into yourself, because that way your guardian and guiding spirits are more easy to give you inspirations. So the key is to make effort. And the purpose is to solve the problems not only of ourselves, but also of many others and leave them to the Lord. Okay, so I want to now disclose Koan 2. And it's in your handout on page 3. The koan will be disclosed in the monitor, on the monitor, so please write down the koan. Ready? I'm gonna disclose. Thank you, Lord. This time we received a koan from the Lord. Two, to what percentage can you control your own thoughts and emotions? To what percentage can you control your own thoughts and emotions? In this koan, it is important to understand the meaning of control your own thoughts and emotions. Okay, so next, let's watch Master's lecture.
今考えていることが、これが自分の自由になることだと思うか、そうでないと思うかと。自由になることだと思えばね。今考えていることが、これが自分の自由になることだと思うか、そうでないと思うかと。自由になることだと思えばね、その部分で努力することは可能だが、お前の自由にならない領域であるならば、これはある程度割り切っていきなさいと、こういうことをその方は私にアドバイスされました。実際、そういうことが多いんですね。私たちの自由にならないことの最たるものは他人の気持ちですね、感情。これは本当に自由にならないところがあります。これに対しても、先ほどの導きということでいろんなすることもあるし、アドバイスすることもあるし、共に生きている同僚としての考えもあるでしょうが、それでも変えることができない場合がありますね。この間、自分の自由にできない領域については、やはりそういうものもあるんだと割り切る。どちらの領域か考えてないね。悩んで仕方がないことであるなら、それはもう神様に任せてほしかないじゃないかと。自分のテリトリーっていうかね、領域の中にあるものをしっかり悩んで頑張ればいいけど、そうでないものがある。こういうことを言われたことがあるんですね、実は。もう7、8年も前になりましょうか。そういう言葉を聞いたことがあります。その後、考え続けてきたんですが、それだけで全部じゃありませんが、実に、大切なことを言っていると思います。多くの人の悩みの原因は、自分の自由にならない部分を悩んでいるんですね。ほとんど。で、自分の自由になる部分について何もしないでいるんです、逆にね。自由にならないところを悩んで、自由になる部分、自分が努力によって変えていける部分について手をつけてないんですね。その部分は手をつけないで、自由にならないところばっかり一生懸命悩んでおるんですね。どうすることもできないことを悩んでいる。こういう逆転の生き方が非常に多いことが分かりました。で、以後実践してきたことは、自分の自由になる部分はどうだろうかと考えて、その自由になる部分については変えていくことね。自己変革していくこと。自由にならないところについては、あまりもう教訓だけ学んだら、それ以外のことはね、もうしばらく県外に置いておくということ。また解決することもあるし、しないこともあるけども、そういう考え方、割り切り方というのを私は学びました。それは一つの成功の方法だったと思います。自分の自由にならないところでね、それでずっと問題抱えたとしても、それで何ほどの人生の展開がありましょうか。ね。ですから自分にできる範囲をまず自分の感情の統制ですね。これです。友人と例えば喧嘩したなら、喧嘩した。自分にできることは何か。まず彼に対する自分の考え方で。これについて感情をコントロールすることは完全に 100% 自分のもんですね。どういう考え方をするか。これは 100% 自分です。だから10年間もその人のことを恨み続けるか、悪口言い続けるか、1日で忘れてしまうかね、許してしまうか、もう自分の領域ですね。これについては自分で完全掌握していく必要がありますね。コントロールですね。
Thank you, Lord. So, controlling your thoughts and emotion is very profound today. and profound thing today. And please, we will now contemplate on this koan, but please contemplate to the extent which you are able to control your emotions, such as a desire, anger, complaints, and dissatisfaction. In your handout, there are tips for contemplation on page 4 and 5. So please look at the contemplation hints if you have to. And we will have 15 minutes to contemplate on this koan. So let's start. So please end your contemplation. Thank you, Lord. So this koan is from this book on page 19. And Master taught us that an issue that's within your power to change certainly deserves your best effort. But if you find that there's nothing within your power that can help, then there are times when you'll need to acknowledge that it's beyond your control and let the problem pass. And it also continues, many of us spend much of our lives dwelling on problems we have no control over, while we neglect problems that our efforts can help solve. What we can possibly achieve in life if we keep trying to solve problems that we have no power over. We need to learn to distinguish between what we do have control over from what we don't, and to put the latter aside. So this is one of the important points. And also, Master mentioned that other people's feelings are a prime example of things that lie beyond our individual power to control. So no matter what we do, we can't change the feeling that other people experience. The best we can do is offer them our advice, but we can't always make them change things about themselves. So one way is to succeed is to think that the only thing that are within our control is our own mind. So we should focus on keeping the right mind. And the first step is to maintain a calm and peaceful mind. And for many people, especially who's not studying the truth, it's difficult to be aware that your concerns and worries come from the outside factor beyond your control. Like, for example, people get caught up by thoughts like, I don't know who and who is thinking about me, or I don't know if my boss is evaluating me correctly, or I'm worried that my kids would pass the exam or not. It's okay to think about it. But if you are holding on to such thoughts for a long period of time, it's not good. For example, like you think about it once in every hour or morning till night, that's not good. Because, for example, you can tell your kids to study hard, but it's not you who will be taking the exam. It's not you who will be making the effort, it's your kids. So no matter how much you think, you can't do nothing about it. And so thinking or worrying too much on something that lies outside your power lacks peace of mind. And when I think about peace of mind, I always come up with the story of a compass of the mind. It's in the Laws of the Sun. I think you have heard of it before. So within the minds of human is a compass needle, which is their thoughts. And this needle swings constantly back and forth in various directions all day long without no rest. And even the needle in the mind of monks who have devoted their life to spiritual discipline swings when they see a beautiful woman or when they see a delicious meal. And the needle moves when the needle also swings when they see others awaken sooner than them. And moreover, the needle moves when their master scolds them. So the minds of seekers knows no peace. And this story tells the importance and difficulty of making sure that your compass needle is in the right direction, facing north. And we all have weak points where our emotions swing. For example, I know exactly where I lose my mind, and that is love and human relationships. And the other one is fear, fear about my future. So whenever I have hard time facing these problems, my mind loses control and swings very harshly. And talking about human relationships, I had a superior that I couldn't get along with, and I was distracted by anger, dissatisfaction, doubt, fear, and hatred. because I felt that I was not being respected as a human, as a person. So my compass needle moved very harshly, and my mind went crazy. But there was this moment that I felt very tired of being upset and angry, and I got really tired. And at that time, I was talking to a friend, and my friend told me, "Are you happy?" And this simple question awakened me up. And I was like, "No, I am not happy." And why is that? And I tried blaming my superior, but I got a feeling of embarrassment and a sense of not fulfilling my duty or responsibility as a human being, because our responsibility or our duty is to become happy and make others happy. And that's Alcantara's wish. So people have all kinds of backgrounds. People have their reasons. And you can't change a person to always act the way that you want them to. They have their own life problems, own characteristics that can be useful or thankful to other people, but not to you in a certain situation. They can be strict on you because they have a mission or a karma that they have to overcome. And you can't help on that. And it's out of your control. And I reflected on myself and I decided to change myself. I reminded myself that in Think Big, that Master Ryuho Okawa wrote, he said that you are what you are thinking about. So I thought, I am who I am thinking about. My thoughts are who I am. And from that day onwards, my mind gradually attained peace of mind. I was able to come back to the original state of mind, and I was able to control my emotions. And I noticed that you can't change people, but you can change yourself. You can change the way you think about or see. So, and now I can see my superior from a different angle, and I was able to keep a good distance that I feel comfortable with, and that made a good influence on two of us. So that is one of my episodes, and I want to ask some of you if you have any things that your mind went like off. Henry, do you have one? You're always calm, so maybe it might be a difficult question.
Yeah. Okay, my mind chatters. So I am not my chattering mind. So when I recognize that's just my mind chatter, I'm not really paying attention to it unless it's something that really needs my attention. So I'm in complete control of my mind and my emotions until I'm not. And so it's like, you know, that's a peaceful state. And then all of a sudden something happens. Usually it happens when I'm driving. and I'm really surprised at my outbursts, you know, at the other driver, you know, or the situation that's occurring. And then I look at the way that I reacted and I go, boy, that was really a ridiculous thing to express, you know, usually with some very colorful words and commentary. So then who are we on the inside? And what's our job, really? And our job is to connect to the essence of everything and allow that blessing energy to come through us. We're like disseminators of blessing energy. That's what we're set up as. And so when
when you're experiencing teachings, if you're going for understanding the Dharma and the mind and how everything works, that really becomes your job after a while, is allowing those blessing energies just to flow through to help people. A friend of mine, well, he was one of the top neuropsychiatrists in America, working with me for 10 years. And he was like way brilliant. And he had like maybe 20 patients at a time. And he was actually holding their universes together. They weren't holding their universe together. So he was like connected to their universes and holding them all together. You know, so it's like, we don't have to be just our selves in one sense, you know, we can actually help all kinds of beings at the same time. And what brought this up was last night or night before, I spent 2.5 hours talking to my son in Japan, and he told me that it's almost like an epidemic in Japan right now with 15-year-old girls, really beautiful girls, jumping out of buildings and committing suicide. And I went, wow, that's really, it's like your heart goes out to them, and whatever state they're in right now, you know, they're shocked to understand that they're now up here doing something without a body, and they left a whole lot of sorrow behind. People are grieving, you know, terribly, probably for the rest of their lives, you know, their parents and stuff. So it's like allowing that energy to flow through to them as a group, helping them in that transition, in that phase. And it's like we have the ability to influence their state of mind because we are connected and allowing that to flow through. It's like our job. That's our job. You can't just say, oh God, take care of that. You know, you got to say, hey, here, I'll take responsibility for it. Just flow through and have it happen. So.
I didn't know that many people.
I just want to talk about the art of character. Okay, in the story I read, there was this man that was taken to prison, and every day he was tortured. Okay. But he learned a technique. They said technique, but maybe it was a meditation. He learned technique where he sort of like detached himself from that pain and everything, and then he created in his mind, because he went into his mind, he created his mind a paradise, a utopia for himself, you know. And so he found, it was reading the story, he found by doing that, he found not only the freedom, but he found the peace. There was peace in that mind thing, because of his inner thoughts and emotion. He created peace, and he did that every day, you know, and the people couldn't understand how, you know, he wasn't screaming or yelling, and how he went through that. And that was his thing, going deeper inside and creating that peace, paradise. Yeah. So I think I said to myself, yeah, it's sort of like this, you know. And so he got into that. So I was thinking like, I got a long way to go on that one, but you know, he learned that. And the one about trying to control each other emotions, I have also learned that. I even talked to the person one time and I said, you know, we have to sit down because I'm like, you know, and I said, you know, I really liked you. I didn't like you at the beginning, to tell you the truth, you know, but as the years went by, I like you now, okay? Because now there's less control. Everybody's not doing less control. I'm learning. And I said, so when I said, you are a very good person in this segment, and not so good in this one, but I'm not going to help you out in this one because that's your kuleana. That's what you have to take care of yourself. I'm not going to worry about it because it causes conflict. When you try to help someone else, it will cause conflict. with each other. It's gonna come back and bite you in the butt. They're gonna say, well, you talk, like things like that. So I learned to slowly wean myself from that. And then, if, you know how when you get into a problem with another person and you try to make amends, that's another way of controlling in a way, pushing your emotion on somebody else. I've learned back away, and when they're ready, they'll come and say, oh, what's up? Now I'm already in the mindset of my, but they'll come and say, oh, hi, like that, you go, oh, hi, but before you say hi, nobody will say nothing, right? You pass by the room like that, right? So I just learned to be, let it be, let it be, don't come around, it is meant to be. So, but it takes years, it's not like that, yeah. So, luckily we're finding stuff, but this would be so wonderful if younger kids, then start moving in, because they got a lot of emotions going on, so if they learn how to control that would be nice too. But that's where my standpoint is, where I coming from. Yeah, I stopped there.
Oh, wow. Thank you. There are times that you need to make a good distance, or time can solve kind of way of thinking is important too. Master also mentions it in this book too. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So what I think is that controlling your thoughts and emotions are, after all, how quickly you can switch, or how quickly you can attune back to your original state of mind, gaining peace of mind. So we want to explore the way how we can quickly come back to our original state of mind. One, you can listen to Master's lectures, Master's songs. You can read the books of truth, meditate, talk to Dharma friends, do self-reflection, do prayers, or even sit down and take a deep breath and calm your mind. That also can help you too. And the very core reason I believe that you lose your control or your thoughts and emotion is that you are only thinking about yourself. So, for example, in my case, my superior said something that hurt my feelings, or my superior didn't understand me the way I wanted him to. But you need to have enough space to think about others too. For example, my superior was in a bad mood because he was scolded by his wife or something. You don't know what the reason is. And there are sometimes you cannot tell what people have gone through. So you need to be patient and persevere. There's always the cause and effect. You have to make effort to either reflect on yourself and move forward, or to put yourself in other people's shoes, and also be tolerant. And in the end, what is bad and evil is to hold on to negative thoughts and emotions in your mind. That's poison of the mind. And I want to share one thing about Shio, a master's wife. She once said that when something disturbs her mind, she always thinks about the things that are much more grand, like master's mission or world peace. She doesn't focus on herself, but to think about other people's happiness. So she sometimes listened to The Water Revolution, which is a song about dictatorship in other countries. And she makes effort not to hold on to a negative thought and emotion for a long time. If self-reflection is necessary, she will do it. And also she said that when she thinks about something much more grand, she feels that her worries and concerns are very trivial and very small, and not that worthy of spending so much time on it. So she leaves it, and the time will solve. But in order to do that, we need to work on our mental strength, tough mind, have perseverance. I think that's important. And I think we were all there in yesterday's session, but we learned yesterday that when we end our life, we will be watching a film of life. And what you have in your mind is shown too. So controlling your thoughts and emotions are very important training for us to go back to the heavenly world as well. And in the Royal Road of Life, chapters 2, there is a lecture called Serenity of Mind. And Master said in that lecture, you will find that simply by practicing peace in your mind, you will develop greatness as a person before you know it. So practicing peace of mind, you can become a great person. Okay. And one thing, lastly, I want to mention about Joseph's friend Marvin. I think you talked about his experience before. So Joseph has been practicing and telling truths to Marvin. And when he got his motorbike stolen, Marvin usually gets upset, but he didn't. And that's because Marvin has been looking at Joseph's daily practice of truth and he got influenced. So that's the true power that we all have within. And we want to expose that power even more. So, oh, and also Ifo too. I think you shared us a story about controlling your thoughts on the story of getting a free French fry at McDonald's. Please share that later. So, yes. And about controlling our thoughts and emotions, in addition to eliminating negative emotions, it is also important to fill our mind with positive thoughts, such as faith, gratitude, love, and to express them in our words and actions. So now we will listen to an excerpt from the lecture, Aiming to be a True Elite, and then practice the meditation to have a dialogue with your guardian and guiding spirits. In the form of asking yourself how to deal with worries and issues, or how to control your thoughts and emotions. So let's.
Something.
Yes, sure, please.
I used to do missionary work in the prison. And most of the people in jail don't accept responsibility for why they're there. So one of the things I used to cover that I learned through Master's teachings was that I used to tell them that you are physically here in prison because of something you did, something you said. Okay, so you're physically in prison, but you don't have to be mentally in prison. So start thinking about things you want to do when you leave this environment. A lot of times people imprison their mind because of where they are. So I used to tell them, change the way you think, and it will change the rest of your life. So that was something that I always started off with, because you are what you think about.
Yes, that's true.
So they were always in jail because of something a friend did or a relative said or whatever. They never took responsibility for participating in whatever activity they were involved in that got them in jail. So free your mind, think about the future and the things that you want to achieve when you get out of here, so that you're not in that revolving door of leaving prison and coming back because you're hanging out with the same people that you used to hang out with and got you in trouble in the first place. So sure.
Thank you. That's very precious. Thank you.
それでですね、もう一つ古墳学の基本的なことはですね、言ってることは、人の心ってなかなか自由にはなりません。影響を与えることはできますし、説得することはできますけれども、人の心を自由に支配することはやっぱりできません。どんな王様でも奴隷の心を自由にはできないんです。命令は聞かすことはできても、心までは自由にはできません。で、心っていうのは王国です。一種の王国なんですね。だから、しかし自分自身は自分の心を自由に、支配することです。思うように動かすことができるわけですから、どういうふうに捉えるか、どういうふうに考え方を作るかってことは自由なことですね。これは完全に任されている領域。100% 自分自身の心は、動かせるんですね。だから人をどうかしようとか、あるいは、世界をどうしようと思うと時間かかるし、大変説得するのも大変だけども、まず、何かの問題があったときに、私自身の問題としてできることはないかと、自分自身の問題としてできることはないかと、まず考えてみて、自分の心の持ちようでこれ変えることができないかどうかということを、まず、考える。そういう癖をつけていただきたい。心の王者になっていただきたい。心の支配者になっていただきたいんですね。これが言葉を変えて言えば、長らく仏教などで言われている悟りと同じことなんですね。自分の心というものを自分の支配下において自由に統合できるようになったら、これは悟りを、ある意味での悟りを開いたというのと同じことなんです。
I think this lecture was relevant to your test sharing that you did just before. Okay. Lastly, we will move on to meditation to have a dialogue with their guardian spirit. Please stretch. You can stand up or relax your shoulders, relax your back, and slowly take a deep breath for a while. And please wait for the Lord's guidance. Okay.
では守護霊との対話を始めます。
Now, let us start to talk with our guardian spirits.
この道場に集っている各人の守護霊を、これから守護霊との対話を始めます。
Guardian spirits of those gathered in this hall today, we will start a dialogue with you now.
皆さんは守護霊が自分の前に座っている、自分の方に向かっているというイメージを持ってください。
For your part, imagine that your guardian spirit is sitting in front of you and facing you.
そしてその守護霊と日頃自分が悩んでいることについて対話を始めてみていただきたい。心の中で対話をしてください。
Please start a dialogue with your guardian spirit on any problem bothering you lately. Begin this dialogue in your mind.
守護霊が対話を始めるときには、この合掌の手をお腹まで下ろしてください。
Once you can feel your guardian spirit talking to you, move down your hands.
守護霊と対話が始まったと思ったら、合掌の手をお腹まで下げてください。そして楽な姿勢で心の中で対話をしてください。
Move your hands down until they are in front of your stomach. Continue the dialogue in a comfortable posture.
各人の守護霊よ、それぞれの悩みについて的確なアドバイスをしなさい。本人の心の過ちについて的確なアドバイスをしなさい。
Guardian spirits of each and every attendant, please give them proper advice. Provide appropriate suggestions on correcting the mistakes in their mind.
目を開けてください。
Now, please open your eyes.
Thank you very much. How was it? Did you get any inspiration? It was a short period of time, but Ray, did you find any discoveries or like inspirations?
Yes.
Oh.
A lot of my training is at work because I spend so much time at work.
Mm.
So there's a lot of opportunities to do things, and so through this contemplation I just had, I have to know my environment, and because I've already been established at where I work, I can use my environment to influence new people who's coming in. And so there was people that made it through and some people that did not make it through. And I knew these people personally in the past, so yeah, I would use language that was more comfortable for them to understand, as opposed to being more professional, because I don't know that person. So I had to understand my environment first, then I could use my influence, maybe more on a human level instead of more professional level. And so there was this person that came from another power plant that everybody hated. And we knew coming in that this guy is hated. But he's coming to our place, so we have to work with him. So I knew him from previous power plant. And so, you teach him whatever we know from our power plant. And so some guys already had a presumption and already prejudged him because of his reputation from other kinds. And so I pulled him on the side, hey, this is a good place to work. It's a smaller group. People help each other, give him the positivity so that he knows people hate him. But I said, this is a good opportunity. You have a gigantic raise from a position that you were coming from. So prove everybody wrong, just give him confidence. And so he didn't make it because of his personality, which I could not control. But as a friend, I put him on the side, hey, just know the basics and just prove him wrong and whatever. And he just didn't make it. And, I couldn't control that part. And so I felt bad. I didn't want him to fail, but that didn't work out. However, he had to go in front of this board where all the big shots evaluate him every so often. And they asked him, seems like nobody has confidence in you in this whole plan, and you're probably not gonna make it, but nobody helped you. And he mentioned my name, which kind of like, made me think about being a happy science member and helping out. And so it's kind of like a reward, like for myself personally, but still I didn't want him to fail, but so he had to go back to where he came from. But on the other hand, there's a person who was hated at another place where it was so intense over there that people don't even talk to each other. But so he comes and he calls in sick, like the maximum he can do just to get out of work because he hates everybody and everybody hates him. So he comes over to our place and I don't know him. So my environment with him is different. So I don't know him. So I just use humor and make him relax. And so, not unknowingly, he doesn't even call in sick. And the people on the other side, like, wow, what happened? And so you just create the environment. I unknowingly, I don't know, he's comfortable with us, I guess. And you just create that environment for him to, just relax. And the work is fine if you know what you're doing. And so that's the training ground for me. And so I gotta know my environment. I know if I know my environment, if I know that person, my language changes. If I don't know that person, I listen more.
Mhm.
so that I know what to tell him. So that's what I got from this contemplation.
Wow.
Just knowing my environment and how to use what I know
Mhm.
to make that person, succeed. And
Oh.
so he's still there and hasn't even called in sick where he used to maximize calling in sick. And so
Mhm.
people are like surprised, like, wow, what happened? I don't think it was totally me, but just creating small positivity and the environment. He stays back. He usually just leaves before. He just stays back, talks story, even after work. And so he changed. And I don't know what happened, but I'm just a little part of it. But I'm sure the other people,
Wow.
just knowing your environment, how to use language and how to use positivity.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, we want to be influential like that. Like naturally your good aspects comes out and influence people. So yeah, that's where we want to be. Thank you. Gilbert, do you have anything to share?
I don't have any individual story of my own, but as I listened to everybody else's comments here, like, who was it that said that there's these suicides? I forget who said
Henry?
that. Japanese girls.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Henry. Yeah, of course, I live alone, and for years, decades, I look at society and I observe, and it's tragic. I don't doubt that there is some kind of, on a certain level, an epidemic of suicide happening there. It's happening in America too. So we have to question, why is our society so pathetically sick as it truly is? And then, as Ronaldo just shared, yeah, you have to understand your environment, whatever your environment is, whatever it consists of. In every moment in the environment that you find yourself in, it's an opportunity for you as a mental, spiritual being to affect the atmosphere right then and there. And so if you have the right mindset, then potentially you can, whether it's at your work, as Joseph said, at the workplace, there's always an opportunity for you to affect others. I'm always looking for an opportunity to impact others in some form or fashion, even when I'm just a rider on the bus. I'll talk to a total stranger there and try to make a connection. So every moment is an opportunity, and life is precious. Time is a precious commodity. If you don't ready yourself, take advantage of that moment, then you just won't know, and you won't create that potential change in the others, or even a crowd of people. You can influence a crowd of people, not just one individual, if your mind has that capacity.
Thank you. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I like how you said every moment is an opportunity. I really truly think so too. Thank you. Joseph, do you?
Every moment in my home is opportunity. Um, the marriage is always challenging. And even though I may think I am, I choose my words carefully, or I don't, try to say things meanly to my wife, especially. She tends to think so. So she tells me that I'm not so nice to her sometimes, but I don't see that. So I have to really self-reflect a lot on that, because I think I was doing just fine, but apparently I'm not. So in this contemplation, I was, guided to how I can improve things better. And a lot of it is just my mood in the morning, getting good sleep. If I don't get good sleep, then that affects things, even though my words are just normal words, maybe how I'm delivering the words may not be so kind. So I've been trying to really get good sleep so I can wake up happy and cheery in the morning. But it hasn't been my strength, but I'm overcoming that. So I got some good guidance from my guardian spirit on more things I could do to be that cheery, happy morning person. So I can make harmony in my house. So that's my own self-reflection on how I can be a better influence at home.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, utopia at home is one of the happiness that can spread throughout the world too. So
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What time do you normally go to sleep?
Yeah. Not early enough, and that's where my problem is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So practical.
Yeah. Right. I think
I don't fit in this category because I have work shift work, so I have to change my sleep every week.
Oh,
So instead of the sleep thing, it's if I'm hungry, that changes me. It's food. The sleep thing I can control because I know exactly when I gotta sleep. So no matter what, I wake up. But it's the food. I don't get food.
Yeah, I'm like that too, right?
Dinosaurs
Not
don't
only-
eat them.
I get grouchy. Yeah, Masami knows that. Masami see my face contorting, she start feeding me things to eat.
oh, interesting. Yeah, we all have weak points. Oh. Can I have a word from Kevin?
Wait, let me get my videotape. Go ahead, Kevin, do your thing.
Today's session was really good. I find myself failing in this in the situation more often than people realize. But I admit that it is a struggle for me. I can, I can do it once in a while when I really focus. I can do it, and I can do it really well. It's having to do it all the time, 24/7. So I think that's where the tricky part comes in. And I realize I'm given this opportunity because some greater being believes that I can be bigger, I can be better. So it's, how do you say, I'm trying to see it as a blessing, what I'm dealing with. I cannot totally understand what Mami experienced, as we learn these teachings, we become like idealists, and then you start to see people in accordance with these values and these teachings. And you start to point out, especially people who you expect that's supposed to be good examples for you, not following certain things. And it's like, hey, what the hell's going on? I'm over here trying to start to follow, and you're kind of skipping, doing this, down, like, hey. So for me, that's where my needle swings. So I need to learn the forgiveness, the perseverance, the tolerance. So I know that that's one of the those three keys are something that I'm trying to focus on myself. I'm like everybody else. I have the same struggles. I'm not perfect. But I also believe that I'm given this opportunity, and sometimes there's also a difference in culture as well that I'm dealing with. And a lot of people, not everybody how do you say, it's, I know people are same across the board, across cultures, but then when it comes to cultures and how people live and think, there are differences. So for me, that's a big struggle, because if you look at happy science, origin is Japanese, right? But it doesn't mean that everything else has to be very like Japanese way. You know, so if we want to truly spread this truth to like all people, then we really need to see what I'm starting to focus on is the essence of these teachings. That to me is the what can be spread to every country and every culture, the essential part. Not so much the culture. So we need to like distinguish what part is the cultural aspect, what part is truly the teachings aspect, the culture of following these spiritual values, these teachings. So I'm starting to like kind of like distinguish which is the culture that we're trying to spread to people, you know, because otherwise it will be no different than, you know, like, yeah, like we criticize, like, let's say China now, they're spreading off, but they're trying to like put their laws on every other country. If we don't change something, then we're kind of doing the exact same thing. Yet we're not really allowing each person the freedom to pursue things in their own way. You know, so I really believe that in Hawaii, happy science will manifest much, much differently. If you go to like, let's say Singapore or even Taiwan, they have their own image of what happy science is. So I'm constantly trying to envision what is the culture of the happy science that we want to embody 5 years into the future, 10 years into the future. You know, when people gather here, what are they gonna do? You know, when we study these teachings, what are the essential points of these spiritual practices that we are teaching to other people? You know, so it makes me focus on the essence of religion itself, and how do we get to that core, right? And what do we want to share with other people? You know, it's not just they say just coming together to enjoy each other, but we have a fundamental, how do you say it, like intentional, pure intentional purpose. And to me, that drives everything else. You know, if you do that, I think everything else will be okay. Or that's what I see, you know. So my struggle is I guess I'm trying to envision something that needs to be created, needs to be invented, needs to be innovated. So well, maybe other places, other churches have done it yet. We're still trying to do that here. You know, we're still trying to root it.
Yeah.
You know, so go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what I did. You know, but I understand the focusing on yourself. You know, I understand that. So I need to come back, but I also feel like I'm part of somebody that brings change for the people in the future. You know, so without that, nothing changes. You know, so it's good to just, you know, look within yourself and kind of like control yourself. But we also need to correct when things need to be in a more proper direction. You know. So but yeah, it's a really this session was really good. I really like your explanations. You know, it helped me myself too. It brought me peace to hear your explanations and your comments. So yeah, thank you for conducting this. I think everybody got something really good.
It's a good point you made, Ken, because change is a necessity. We need to necessitate change, because if you hear the cliche, right? If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results, you know, it's just wasting time. So we do need to find that golden nugget that we need to focus on and nurture that. You know, we're gonna go other areas where we're teaching happy science teachings, but we all don't have the Japanese core. You know what I mean? You come to Hawaii, you look around and look at this room alone. Diversity is king. So we have to find a way to bring all those diverse people together under one umbrella. So you got a tough job, Ken, but I'm here to help you, buddy.
Yes, me too.
You know, your capacity to flow magic is huge. You know, I mean, and you're set up for for creating, nectar in the kitchen. And so when you come up with new challenges in life that aren't that, maybe visualize it as a pot roast. What would I do if this was a pot roast?
Slowly.
Yeah, change the temperature, put some seasoning, something like that. And if you're still stumped, go back to the cookbook and see what it says.
And then if you're still stumped, call you cook.
Turn up the heat.
You're gonna be-
So as I was listening to everyone speak, it's all about truly knowing yourself, but not just that, liking yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta like yourself to like others.
Yes.
You cannot move forward without, you cannot. Thank you, Kevin. You cannot move forward without that, And then in liking yourself, whatever comes, what may, you can handle it. You don't have that, yeah. So, yeah. I like you folks.
Yay.
We love you too.
I love you too.
My position, in Happy Science, I never see myself as a leader, but even just listening to Kevin, I consider, Alfredo, Kevin, Alfredo was a minister, he's minister, like the leaders. But I understand their struggles, with dealing with Japan, and I heard it and kind of, but here in Hawaii, they kind of make me a leader wherever I go. And so instead of like putting them on a pedestal and they have to be this way, I can become a leader by helping the people who I deal with. And I never see them as like, they're on a pedestal and I gotta always listen to them. It's different thinking here in Hawaii. It's like you care about the other people in a way that you don't have to worry about the leader looking down on you kind of. It's just a different vibe here. I don't know, because I never see myself as a leader. It's like a follower. But when I talk to them and I learn from them, they're like same level. They treat me as same level. So I never see myself as a leader, but I feel like that wherever I go, whenever I deal with people. And so it's a different, I don't know how I compare it to Japan, but like it's just everybody's like leader. And I never felt like that, like being a leader. I was like a follower. So being a leader, sometimes you see the authority that you gotta always kind of like, but here is like you become a leader by helping the people on the side and not worrying about the hierarchy of everything. So I don't know, it's just Hawaii, I guess. I don't know.
We try to do the law. For us, aloha has a completely different meaning from what most people think it is. So everything he does, everything he says, it's like the breath of life. That's the breath that Master gave us, and now we are turning around trying to give it out to other people. So it's not I am divine, give us social club. Yeah, we like getting together, but that's not the main reason why we are together.
Aloha translated is the breath of God. They're wishing you the breath of God. And this is a family culture. That's totally different from anywhere else in the world. It's like the family is number one. That makes a big difference. And this is a family.
I see everybody as leaders.
And that's exactly what Kevin and the rest of us are trying to create.
Wow. Very.
So you got a bird's eye view of what Hawaii is working towards.
It's breath. It's felt the breath of God.
Yeah, those 15-year-old girls weren't feeling family.
Mm,
you know, and the culture now is kind of based on disconnection rather than connection. And the concept of love is just dissipating, you
mm,
know, unless you're plugged in.
yeah.
For the folks that are not plugged in, it's just getting harder and harder and harder.
Mm.
The Japanese song actually. They got more Hawaiian style aloha. You know that. And actually, the more people that do it, the more the frequency shifts on the planet. So if you got a couple of 100,000, you know, heavy science people doing it, you know, then that really does affect reality itself.
Yes, yes. Mm. Thank you. Mm.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. By the way, you don't have a copy of my survey here. Here, do you?
I think somewhere in that room.
Yeah, I something very brief. I want to read it if
Okay.
you have it.
Silver has that auto influence.
Yeah.
That's not true.
This one, society.
Yeah, that's it. I want to see the bottom.
Bigger over here.
You made?
That's it.
Wow.
Bigger over here. It's bigger on-
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
So I'll go ahead and read it from the
I'll
screen
make it
here.
bigger.
This is
There you go.
I actually, this survey is mine. I created it back in 2011 or 12. At that time, I didn't live in Kaimuki. I lived in a condo building in Waikiki. And there's a Christian Science reading room. The building is still there. And but it's been shut down for several years. So I used to work day and night. I worked double job in Waikiki. And I had a space of time between the morning job and the night job. And so frequently I would go into this Christian Science reading room. It's very peaceful. There are Bibles there and lots of Christian books. And I developed a friendship with Jim Ellis. He was the manager of the Christian Science reading room. And so I had deep appreciation for him, his friendship. And of course, I understand the theology and history of Christian Science. Ironically, Christian Science now, I'm with Happy Science. But anyhow, the point is, and this was in 2011 or 2012, that if you look at this survey from top to bottom, it's a probative survey. It's trying to delve into the respondee's mind to see what they think, asking them questions. What do you see that's wrong with society? And so today, Henry gives us the example of suicidal young girls in Japan, which is truly part and parcel of the problem of the sick society. So I'll just go ahead and read the bottom paragraph, but this is the conclusion. This is where I'm actually trying to lead their minds into this bottom paragraph. As a result of modern technology, human interaction has become highly excessive. So, I mean, when I was a kid, I was thrilled to get a letter from a relative, and it cost a 2-cent stamp to send that letter, but it still took several days to communicate the deep thoughts and feelings that I had in that letter. Nowadays, you can text somebody halfway around the world, bling, bling, bling. And so everybody has the opportunity to express themselves as individuals. And, you know, you go to YouTube, I mean, YouTube is about anybody. Anybody can express their music, their thoughts, or even show their half-naked body on YouTube. That's the reality of today. But the fact of the matter is that that's not helping. They want you to believe, and now you have this LGBTQ insanity, and by the way, I don't hate any of them. I feel sorry for them. Because they're destroying themselves in the long run, and they're destroying the society. Because they're ignorant of the truth. The truth is that there's purpose to masculinity and femininity, all of it. So anyhow, you have what we would call unfettered opportunity to express ourselves on the internet, on our cell phone, whatever, on social media, but it's not helping. If anything, it's causing more destruction than it is closeness. And then, of course, the pandemic, all that. That was a tsunami, psychological tsunami. As a result of modern technology, human interaction has become highly excessive. Cell phones, computers, internet, Facebook, Twitter, televisions, radio, and other high-tech communication devices keep us in constant contact with the rest of the world. However, psychologically, we live in a form of public isolation. National, political, ethnic, religious, economic, and other man-made boundaries, with the emphasis on man-made, have separated us from each other. We live in our own enclosures, constantly seeking psychological security, our own individual psychological security. Thank you for participating. Send to, our email address. Hopefully, I distributed all the copies that Peter made. So I think there was about 26 or 27 of my stocked them in the long supermarket a couple days ago. But so anyhow, that I stand by it, this paragraph. I just see so much opportunity for the freedom of individual expression. But then now in Japan, you have these young gals, because why? Why are they committing suicide? Because they lack a sense of self-esteem, a lack of my value and purpose in life. You don't commit suicide unless you have lost a sense of purpose and meaning. And so people across the board, they're losing a sense of meaning. I see it everywhere I go. I see it on the bus. And with the elderly, when I talk to them, they have no power to influence their children, their grandkids, keikis, whatever. Truly is sad.
Thanks for sharing.
Really.
Thank you.
Myself, I as much as these devices are wonderful, I'm not in favor of them. I really am not. No, do whatever you can through music, public speech, get out there, stand, even Adolf Hitler, of course, he was a nobody. He was an itinerant artist. He painted. But he stood on a literal soapbox in the town square and just like a street preacher preached to the people. Of course, it took time, it took years, but he kept like beating the bass drum, bam, 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 bam. And of course, the economic and social devastation that was residuals from Germany having lost World War I. And then it was similar to conditions that are happening in America now. No, this inflation is real. All my bills in the last 8 months, all of them, rent, electricity, they've all went up. Food costs in the supermarket. That assure yourself, it is affecting people. I think everybody here is not in poverty, but there are a lot of people who are, and they are insecure. And I really do believe that by November of next year, which will be the election, there could be some bloodshed surrounding that election. I'm not here to be a doomsday prophet. I can say I can see it happen. Oh no, people have to deal with that. we have to talk about reality as it is. Because in the meantime, people will just Twitter away or whatever, or be reliant on their social media and they'll just text each other, but at the end of the day, that's not gonna solve the problem.
I really think that it's quite possible that chaos is coming, not even short-term chaos, but probably the purpose is to soften up the population to be open to Dharma teachings. If they make it to the other side of it, they'll be a lot more open. The opposite of aloha is haui, which means without the breath of God, and there's a lot of folks that are trained to be that way by media, by the captains of industry of the media. And so they're victims. All those folks are victims. And, you're actually lucky if you're trying to get around that. So time to prepare. And be ready for when you're really open to help spiritual help, spiritual forms.
So then, as we think about chaos and gloom, we can also get back to saying, hopefully, and pray, and come. Like I would say, if I catch myself doing something wrong, so I would say, "Oh, forgive me." So there's a thinking that way, but also trying to uplift, not having to think of that so much, and say it will get better. Let's make it better. And thoughts, a lot of people's thoughts can do that, and I'm sure there's people out there doing it right now, and yeah, the government is really good, like overboard, and people are trying to control other people and tell them what to do. This is not for you. Your house has got to be green and all that kind of stuff like that, right? Right? You have pink curtains. No pink curtains, you can't be with us. I'm sorry. Little things like that. So like, you can talk about it. So, okay, right. But you know what? I'm gonna make it better. I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna change the curtains, and we're gonna have black curtains. And you change your mind thought on that too. Or make it balanced, in other words. Balance it out. I would say it can help, it will help in a way, but it's just pushing it forward. Tell myself all the time. And every day I have thoughts. I have stupid thoughts, like, I'm driving the car, I'm like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and then I was like, oh, sorry, not myself again with the word, but yeah. But anyway, and I would say, oh gosh, I have to catch myself. I said, okay, let's do it better. Let's not, whatever. I could keep telling myself that. If I didn't give a rip because I was younger, but I'm not younger now, and I'm understanding all of this, yeah. And then if you don't clean up your act, it's just going to build up, right? So clean up my thoughts. It's not just reading the news, and just sticking your mind to that, which I love Gilswin about the technical thing, because that's like a silent intrusive thing in our life, that kind of stuff like that. But what we know about worldly that comes out, yeah, we can kind of work on that in our own way, and others that want to do that too. Why not, right? Thank you.
Thank you. I was told that Kazuyo from Vancouver would join, but I'm not sure if she's here or not. How do you check
Participants, is there a
participants?
participants page?
Oh, security. Participant page.
I can't read it.
Yeah, it's in Japanese.
Google Translate.
Maybe not.
Technology.
No, she's out.
Okay, there you go. That's the
Okay.
spot.
Oh, she's not there. Okay. I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to end this session and we're gonna take a bow and then end the session, but there are some members who are taking the Kigan for the monthly Kigan, and I would like you to join and pray for them too. So there's gonna be 5 Kigans, but I wish you could stay here and pray for them since they are our lovely Sangha members. So yes,